Hey everybody, and welcome to BODS Mayhem, our live podcast. It's Friday, and with me on the other line here, I have my buddy, Mr. Peter Federowicz of VAGORA. We're going to be talking to him about all VAGORA stuff, and plus it's 9/11 Eve, as I should say, and I hate to say it that way, but never forget, and we won't forget. And it sucks that what's it been now? What 20 years?
20
Something like
years.
that.
Yeah.
Jeez, 20 freaking years, man. But yeah, never forget. And we overcame it. So how you been doing, and what's been going on, man?
A lot, and just a lot of changes in life and musically and all that stuff, just getting by.
So what's going on in the VAGORA camp right now? Are you guys working on anything right now? Because I know you've always constantly wrote all kinds of stuff. So I know you got a ton of music that's probably waiting to get out.
Well, I mean, that's an entire biography right there about what's been going on with us. We do finally have some shows coming up. It'll be, I don't want to beat COVID to death, but it will be the first shows that we've done in pretty much 2 years coming up in October. And we'll be debuting our new lineup. Got the way it worked out is, we got all new guys. They're excited. They're pumped about the old material. We've got so much new material ready to go. Just trying to get back out there, get things going.
Didn't you guys have a show booked or play one show and then COVID shut it down, if I'm not mistaken, or am I wrong on that, Peter?
No, we had a show booked for my birthday, and we had a tour booked, a 4-day run earlier in the summer of last year. Both of which, and each show kind of got dropped, and there was one last one we were going to do in Indiana, and it got canceled like days before we were getting ready to leave. And then my birthday show got locked down as well, and that was in December. So our last show was ended up being Mark and Robbie's final show. That was in November of 2019.
So you can hear me okay? I don't sound like I'm modulating, over modulating or anything. I'm crystal clear. Okay.
Sound great, man.
Yeah, like I said, I always panic over that stuff. With this setup, you never know. Technology has a mind of its own. With this lockdown that we've been having, the pandemic and stuff, man, has it allowed you to, I don't know, I guess, write more, let everything out, so to speak? Has the writing, have you seen your writing go a different route? Has it expanded? Has it allowed you to grow, things like that since this has been going on?
Well, that's a difficult question because, my life changed a bit, but it also didn't. I work in healthcare. I never stopped working. Life was very hectic for the first, 8 months or so. Very, going to work every day was just frightening. And so that I was really focused a lot on just life and living and making sure my kids are okay. So
Sure.
art and music kind of took a back burner to that for a little bit. I started doing some more visual arts, painting, drawing, things like that. But I'd say since we got this lineup, I've definitely gotten back into the groove of things. I've been very inspired and all that. So.
What about with the new members? Have they contributed with any other writing process at all with you? Has somebody's calling?
Oh, absolutely.
We on a podcast, fool.
It's probably yeah. Repeat the question, John. Yeah. So our guitar player Cody, he actually joined the band while Mark and Robbie were still in the band, and so he actually played our final show. We played as a 6-piece and kind of a transitional kind of thing. So he's been with us for 2 years now, and we've never played a show with just him. So he's been writing with us. He was writing with Jesse, and we he's been bringing a lot of cool stuff to the table. He's a different style of guitar player. So we've got that. Yeah, definitely the new guys are bringing material to the table quite a bit. So
folks, for the ones that are out there watching, I totally appreciate it. And the ones who come back and watch this replay, for the ones that are out there watching and listening right now, you can post a question in here and we will see it and we will answer it for you for sure. If you have any questions for Peter or for myself, just drop a line in here. We'll be more than happy to answer y'all's questions.
I'm an open book, so there's really no topics off the table.
With this new group, though, man, has it broadened the horizons for VAGORA? Not like to the one standard horror punk stuff like that. I mean, has it taken it to its next level, possibly, that you could tell?
Yeah, definitely. We're looking. I don't want to, I never, discredit anything that's brought us to where we are, but we have expanded on our sound for years and years and years. We're definitely going more towards a pop punk, a little more, I don't want to say mainstream or anything like that, but definitely we're looking to broaden our horizons with this lineup, different, just seeing, what other, people would be interested in what we're doing. We always try to do that, but yeah, I mean, we're going to be touching some stuff, but on the flip side, especially right now, these next two shows are going to be very aggressive, very punk, reminiscent of us in 2009. Reason being is we only have one guitarist right now. So we're playing as a 4-piece. And when we play as a 4-piece, we play heavy as hell. So yeah, those shows are going to be really cool. There's going to be a lot of throwback stuff to the horror punk stuff. I won't get too much into it, but if you want to see VAGORA in a way you haven't seen us in a very long time, these shows would be the ones to check out for sure.
What about like a live event? I mean, as far as like live streaming, I should say. Have y'all thought about doing that as well?
I'm not against it. We actually rehearse in my house. So, we're in where we rehearse, and I've actually had house parties in here years ago where we've literally performed in my basement. So it's not something that's off the table. It's
I think it'd be cool though, because I think a lot of bands, unless you're like a huge national band, you got to stay relevant. And I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever to anybody, including you guys. You know me better than that. But
Yeah.
It just seems like, well, I haven't heard from these guys in 2 years. Well, no shit, it's a pandemic. Everything's got locked down. You know what I mean?
Well, we were doing like acoustic stuff and all that stuff, and then Facebook shut that shit down. They were
really.
So me and Jesse would do a couple acoustic songs and ask people if they wanted us to do something live, and then all of a sudden, like a few weeks later, there was like a big notice saying that they didn't want bands doing that or any other kind of performance artists doing that. So yeah, that kind of sucked because we would have just kept performing and doing things. But I will say, John, I believe that VAGORA is the first band that ever performed on the radio show. If I'm not, is that right? When we did the acoustic stuff with you years and years ago?
That's a possibility. That's a good question, dude. I have to go back and look.
We were, because I had brought up that that to do that, and I remember you had us come on and we did the the radio stuff. So if I'll make a thing out to you with this. Have you had a full band perform on the show yet? Like video?
Well, as far as video, no. That is something that is on my list because I'm wanting to do something special for Halloween and then for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. I have something, and my names are funny. I don't care. This is my show. I like what I do, but I have thanks beatings for Thanksgiving, and then we've got one coming up for Christmas too. So yeah, man, I'm down with it at all because I see all these other bands doing stuff like that. So, it's your own music. That's what I say. Paul Massey, what's up, brother? See, he's out there. Robbie, what's up, little brother?
Paul and Robbie, two of my best friends. Honestly, I say that in the sense of I talk to those dudes every day, and they're probably the people I'm the most open with in my life.
And community, and I hope I said that right. Community, whatever. That'd be sick if you got them to do a live stream show. So
I can pretty much guarantee that I can pull something like that off. Reason being, and I don't want to call him out, but Johnny, our old bass player, he went to school for video radio technology. He's a graduate of the school, and so he's got his video stuff. So I can, we've been talking and hanging out. I wonder if I can get him to use his services to get some nice equipment in here and really kick some ass and make it real nice. So,
folks, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there, brother, but folks, if you don't understand my podcast or know anything about my podcast, Robbie, Peter, TV, all these guys from back in the day, I'm still a huge supporter of horror punk and all these independently bands. I mean, I've been in this for Peter, 11 years now, and since day one, I have supported every single one of these bands that's came on here and gave me the time. Even the Crypt Keeper 5's been on here. I love to get the Crypt Keeper 5 back on here, man. Just
I saw that. You saying that.
Go ahead.
No. When I was watching Robbie's one, you were saying you were trying to get them on here. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I always like helping everybody out because I just feel like I don't know. I've seen my fair share of douchebaggery. Let's just say it, and I don't.
You know what it is? You get these big names on there, but you always never forget the local guys, and that says a lot, man. A lot of people who have gotten the acts that you've gotten to, the people who you've gotten to interview would totally just be like, fuck that, and we know that there are people like that out there that would have just kept going with the big names, but you don't. You always throw us a bone, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I got Gus G coming on the show. I got to redo that interview next week, and I got Sal from a pale horse named Death.
Nice.
I mean, I treat everybody the same. They got their start just the way as everybody else. Some had it easier, some's had it rougher, but everybody's the same to me.
No, and it's a very cool thing. I remember just a weird story, but when I was growing up, there was this venue, and the guy who ran it was, he'd always give like the local bands, startup bands a shot, give them a stay night, give them whatever. And then, if they were good, he always made sure those bands opened for the national acts and things. Like, you could really work yourself with this guy. Like, you could go there, prove yourself, and work your way up. And you don't really see that too much anymore, unfortunately.
No.
And now you almost got to know somebody before you even get into a place. And, I'm not hating, and venues are a completely different thing right now because, there aren't any, they're all closing. So the way they run things, they got to go with who's going to bring the money. And I understand that, but yeah, you kind of always reminded me of that guy that always took care of the local guys and put them in with the bigger names. No pay to play stuff like that. Just, hey, you guys paid your dues. Here's your opportunity.
And I don't know if anybody remembers this now, but I know you and Callie do, but or Kylie. We did the tribute to Blitzkid. We did two shows of that, man, on the online radio. We had a ton of people.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, that was fun. That was a really fun thing. I was really excited to be a part of that. And you gave me.
Thought about. Go ahead.
No, I was saying it was cool that it was your show, but you let me come up with some ideas of the the Blitzkid karaoke with Revisited, and just like the ideas you really gave me a chance to kind of contribute to the show, and I really appreciate that.
And that's the way it should be, man. If you're going to work with somebody who wants to do a tribute to, I guess, a band that's been influential to me and influential to you, I mean, why not? Everybody had a say in this, I think. I didn't say no to nobody. You know what I mean? It's like, everybody give me your input. Give Peter your input. Let us know what you want, and we'll come up with something.
Yeah, and too, you got to remember that the tribute was also a band member of mine. You know what I mean? A dear friend, Tracy, and that was cool too because it was a bittersweet thing. I was a fan, and it's just it was one of those situations I was glad to be a part of that show and to show tribute to my bandmate and the band that allowed me to meet him and
Yeah. Oh, I've not forgot about any of you guys. I have plans to do live shows on here, especially with Robbie's band, your band. Like I said, the Crypt Keeper 5. I want them on here. I'm working with somebody right now to see if I can get them on for Halloween. And if this happens, man, it'll be tremendous. This has been something I've been wanting to do for years.
that'd be cool.
I'll let you know after the show. This is just recently came up. So, yeah, I'm always thinking outside that box because if you just, yeah, you've got to up your game. You got to up your game all the time, man.
You got to keep things fresh. You got to keep things interesting,
So when are you guys thinking about recording anything? Is that even a thought right now? Or you just want to just go through all these songs and
all right,
whatever?
No, I can give you an answer to that. The consensus of what we're doing right now is we want to get some new music out there. And we have 2 songs that we feel really strongly about. In fact, I don't know if you saw the picture that I had just recently posted that I wrote the word fragments on it in the group. Yeah. Yep. There we go. Our guitarist Cody had that done up for us. So we have the song Fragments that we feel really strongly about. And we've got another song, it's untitled at the moment, that our drummer wrote. So we feel like our best game plan is to record those 2 songs, do it as a double-sided single, put it out there probably for free, maybe do some physical copies, but we want to show people what this lineup's about, and the best way to do that is to let you hear what we're doing. So, yeah, I would say before Christmas, you're going to hear 2 new Vagora songs. I can 95% say that's going to happen.
Well, let's hang you back on here around that time and hey, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
No, I'm just saying, there's always bumps in the road that there could be to make it not happen. But,
Sure.
But I feel like the material's there. The guys are here. We have the access to the recording studios and stuff. So it's going to happen.
So everybody that's out there listening and watching, because I see quite a few that's out there now, if you have any questions for Peter or for myself, please drop them in here and we will see these and try to answer you back, which we will answer you back. And especially for the ones who come back and watch this replay of this, I tremendously appreciate it. Thank you so much. And hey, go subscribe to the BODS Mayhem podcast YouTube page.
And BODS Mayhem. Everybody, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for tuning in to see something that I have to say. I've been really quiet the last 2 years. I don't really post much on Facebook. I've been really keeping to myself. So this means a lot to me. It really does.
So would you say what you've wrote now is a different side of you possibly, or are you still keeping on that same trail as previous albums? Because I know the pandemic's caused all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think I've for the last album, Sackcloths and Ashes, I was in a very bad place mentally and just in a very dark place, and the lyrics definitely reflect that for sure, which I don't mind at all. I'm a very negative writer, so that didn't bother me. I think right now, I'm kind of inspired as when our drummer wrote this song that he brought to the table. He kind of wrote things with words that I would never write in places that I've never really gone. Like I don't really write about modern things. Like he put the word cell phone in the song, and like I'm like, wow, that's weird. I've never wrote anything that was that direct or, used like things that were that modern, I guess. Everything I write is kind of gloom and doom. So that kind of is intriguing me to maybe write something, about things that are going on directly and maybe use words that, are more relevant to things. I don't know. It's something that intrigued me. It happened to me again when I was doing this drawing with Sharpie. My wife had bought me some, and they're like super bright, and I've never done anything with bright colors, so I was really inspired, and I made this like intense drawing, and so that things like that intrigue me when I see something that I've never done, or see things that I don't want to be influenced by it, but I certainly am inspired by things like that. I think you'll see a different side of me in my lyric writing for sure.
But the cool thing is, man, ever since I have taken up with your band and plus what Robbie's doing, I've said this, I even said this when Robbie was on here. It amazes me on how much growth that I see as musicians that you guys have done. Even your last album. I mean, I don't care if you write dark music or not. I mean, it still speaks, man. I mean, you guys still have taken it from one plateau to another. And I'm not just, saying that, but I mean, truly, it has grown to where you can tell, hey, these are lyricists. I mean, these are actually musicians that are coming to their own. And I think that's cool with you guys.
Yeah. Another quick story that actually ties into that. I've been writing music and poems and stuff like that since I was around 13, 14. And it's weird because I thought everybody did that because I just started doing it. And I have all that material. And I was going through my basement, going through stuff, and I actually got to read a lot of this stuff pretty recently of, you write things and you kind of cringe that something you wrote 25 years ago, 30 years ago. But yeah, it's cool to see the progression that I've made. But like Robbie was saying, how he's kind of going more towards like more poetic stuff. I kind of started in that realm. So now I'm kind of trying to go into that different, more direct sense. So it's kind of like me and him are kind of doing a little flip-flop, which is a good thing. We're both trying to step it. But when he had said that, it kind of made me think, I'm like, well, I kind of started in that area. And now I'm kind of trying to change it up a little bit.
I know you said it's going to be a 2-track, I guess a 2-track EP, then get it out there real quick. What are you guys actually wanting to do? I mean, I know it's in a slow process right now, but what do you eventually want to do with this?
With the 2 songs?
Well, I mean, are you want to do a full length? You want to just do another EP?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, there's absolutely going to be another big or full length for sure. We there's a lot of material that we always have material. We just fit what's in there. And then with these new guys, our drummer is a very accomplished solo artist, and so he writes a lot. Guitarist writes, bass player, he's bringing a lot to the table as far as what he's doing. So an album, absolutely. But I can say this about the album, and I've been saying this ever since the last album, because it was very conceptual, very artsy. This one's going to be short and sweet. It's going to be maybe 10, possibly 12 tracks. They're going to be rockers. It's going to be a record like we've never done before. Like that, I can say. Not that I don't mind doing weird artsy tracks, because I love that. That's where I came from. But there won't be as much artsy kind of, not artsy, but you know what I mean? There's not going to be as much, I should say experimental. There's going to be things that we've never done, but this is definitely a rock album. Something that people, I think, have been waiting to do. Not that they don't like what we used to do, but I think people have been wanting a solid rock album from us, and they're definitely going to get that on this one for sure.
So more heavier version of VAGORA from these songs.
I wouldn't say heavier, because there's going to definitely be the melodies and all that other stuff. And like I said, Cody's guitar playing is very different than say Robbie's or Jesse's. He's very Coheed and Cambria inspired. It's different. It still feels it's still VAGORA, because I would never do this band if it didn't feel right. If it didn't feel and the guys weren't behind it, I would have been long gone. So
sure.
It still feels the same. So that's why we're still carrying on the name. But I think it's going to be just different, because we have different people to pull ideas from, which is great. It's like getting a new girlfriend every album. And I know it's not the funny thing about this band is, and it looks like all these people leave, they leave. People have left this band and came back. I've performed on stage with pretty much everybody after they've left the band. People have come and go. It's a family, and I don't know whose whose situation is going to open up where they can commit to the band again. So it just feels right now, and it's going to go to place.
Michael Claude Thomas said, looking forward to hearing some new stuff, dude. Austin Smith said, hey, Peter. And Kay, I hope I say this last name right. Krylo, great to see you, Peter. So there you go. Saying hi from everybody.
Everybody's got well, some people have like aliases, so I try to figure out who that is.
Speaking of with the new members and stuff, and you're right, man. You guys and others up there, it's just like a revolving door. It's like, okay, this one left, here comes the other one back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's that mean though, man? To see to have these people come back into the band like that, to say, hey, look, I want to be back in this. From over the years with different members like that.
Well, everybody's left for a reason that was a legitimate reason. So when they come, it's like, okay, there's never really a lot of hostility. It's just if it's the right place and the right time, and we need somebody to fill that position, and it feels like home. It always is great when older members come back. But like I said, I like Robbie. Robbie still works with me as far as with VAGORA because he does a lot of the artwork. We constantly trade tracks. When I have a demo, I have whatever, he sends me stuff. So, we still work together. We're not in the same band anymore. And, that's, it is what it is. There's commitments, there's things people need to do, specifically with Robbie, because like I said, Robbie's one of my best friends. And, I don't, not that I would ever have kicked him out of the band, but, he needed to focus on his solo stuff. The kid's amazing. He's going to be something. You know what I mean? And for him, the guy puts 110 into everything he does. He drove, almost 4 hours to practice. The guy always had his money. He always threw money in. And we're talking like tours where he was doing his own, his own act, his own set. And he was still a complete professional, gave us the top-notch material, wasn't giving us B-sides, none of that stuff. Like I said, financially was always there and stuff like that. So, there had come a point where, I would have pulled him aside and said, hey, man, this is your time. You got to do that because that's where you need to be. And, I'm glad that that's what he's doing because, I played this dude's 13th birthday party. You know what I mean? I've known him forever. So I'm glad with what he's doing, and I'm glad that Mark is able to have the time to continue drumming with Robbie. And there's nothing but love and support for everybody. I've changed a lot. I used to be a very vengeful person, and those days are very long gone. I have nothing but love for everybody, and I don't want to take money. I don't want to take any food out of anybody's mouth. You know what I mean? Everybody should be doing their thing. I don't have to eat at their table, but you know what I mean? I'm not going to take the food out of my mouth.
Right. I understand completely. Paul Massey, Robbie is a machine. And yes, I agree with that because that boy's got 80 some albums out already since 12. Just kidding, Robbie. We love you, buddy.
And here's the thing. I have probably the biggest collection of his stuff. I think he can pretty much vouch for that. I have everything he's ever put out, even like stuff he used to hand out. So I actually will say I probably have the biggest Robbie Bloodshed collection of merch and CDs. So, if that yeah, he'll be remembering me when,
Yeah, I'm very proud of him. I told him that when he was on the show last week because, like I said, he's always 1,000 miles an hour and always coming up with something new to add to a EP or do something with an EP or an album. So, he's never stopping, man, So, let's see. Baby Wolf 199. Aaron is a VAGORA groupie.
I know who that is.
So with these other groups or these other guys, has it taken a lot of stress off of you from the writing process? And coming up with other stuff. You know what I mean? Have they contributed more, or not more, but just contributed to this for you to help you?
Yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses, because when you do get new guys in the band, you want to make sure that everybody's doing the same things. And I think the most difficult issue we would have that is stressful for me is, because there was a time when we had 4 people who were legitimate lead singers for bands in the band. The harmonies were insane. The things we could do were really, we were very lucky, because not a lot of bands can do that. So, making sure that we can, I don't want to say recreate that, but that we can bring that energy and bring that talent to the table is definitely a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm a stressful person, so anything's gonna, anything new is gonna give me, stress. But these guys are doing their homework. They're bringing stuff to the table. They're killing the old stuff. They're bringing the new stuff. So I can't, I like I said, I'm a naturally stressful person, but it's good. It's fun. Practice is awesome. It's so great to be playing, with drums and with everything. It's very therapeutic. Just practice, just after practice, when everything's said and done, and I'm just tired and just laying down, it feels great.
Kay Kratlow, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that last name wrong. I apologize. I'm from Kentucky, and I don't care. That's how I see it. That's how I say it. Anyway, Granny Bloodshed is what she said.
That's who that is. That is who that is.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Into her house many times, so I'm very appreciative of her. We've crashed on her floor many, many times.
Thank you for coming in here, Kay. I tremendously appreciate that. That's awesome. And Paul Massey said, I'll be second in line of Bloodshed merch. So there's another one.
Yeah. And the VAGORA stuff, he's pretty up there too. There's also a buddy of mine, Tony, from California. I don't know if he's in here, but that dude's got everything. Like everything. I mean, stuff that I mean, I have everything. I'm a pack rat, so there's nothing I don't have. But yeah, he's up there. I mean, he probably has most of everything that I have, which is awesome. Wow. I mean, anyone who would spend money to listen to something that I did and that the guys did, you can't get anything better than that. It's money. You know what I mean?
Michael Bloodshed. I told him to calm down last night. He got real hateful with me, so I was like, okay, good.
Nice.
He's wild sometimes. I have to put him down and calm down. Stop. Okay. He just wanted to say hi because I was talking to him. I'm not paying attention to him. He gets a little wild sometimes. But anyway.
That's why I'm sitting near the drums, because on my other side I have like this crazy monkey collection of stuffed monkeys and like puppets and shit. I'd be like, yeah.
Well, like I said, man, at least you got a cool background. I just got the bed back here.
Yeah, this was our old backdrop from like 2010. Like I said, I keep everything. So,
anything new that you're up to right now, man? You keeping up with any new bands that you're interested in, or any new art stuff, or no? Or
I mean, like I said, I've been doing a lot of visual arts. I've been drawing a lot. I've been really trying to get back into doing portrait drawing and things like that. I used to be really good at it. I don't know, just trying to be creative, just trying to, I mean, it's in you when you're a creative person, and I'm not being whatever. I mean, I've been just always thought outside the box and created things since I was a kid. So you're always doing that one way or another, whether it's, I don't know, whatever I don't know. So there's always something. The gears are always turning in some way, shape, or form.
Do you think this is going to be harder for bands after this pandemic is over, if it's ever over, once everything opens back up for you guys? Do you think it's going to be harder to get out there to get shows, or you're just going to have to probably have to do the streaming route for a bit to get back out?
Well, my thing is, and again, I work in healthcare, so I do get information, but that's kind of first in line. But I think the biggest problem is going to be, because each state kind of does their own thing, to book, like, say, a coast to coast tour, or even like a tour. You could be somewhere and then find out that there's a state that you really need that's just not having it. So I think, and you have to book tours out like 8 months ahead of time now, probably more so now. like Robbie said, the connections have dried up because places have shut down. People just don't want to do it anymore because it's just not profitable, so it's going to take a while for independent bands, DIY bands like us that don't have the hugest followings, to get to do touring like that, at least like VAGORA used to do, because like I said, every state's going to do something different, so it's hard to predict. It's not like we can just say, oh, everything's open like it used to be, so we can just book this state and book this place and book whatever. We don't know. It's a crapshoot, and it was already a crapshoot before that. I mean, there was times when I tried to get shows in Florida. I couldn't book my own funeral there, for whatever reason. Not, I love Florida, but there's different areas where there's different connections and whatnot. So, and that was pre-pandemic. So, and there's still states I've never been able to play just because I don't have hookups. So, it was already tough. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks. And I don't like to say this in a negative way, but I'm really glad that I was able to do the things that I've done and tour the way I did, because God forbid if that's it, at least I've, was able to do those things, because I don't know what the future generation is going to be able to do. And it sucks, because I have kids, my daughter plays drums. I want, if they wanted to go that route, I don't know if they'd be able to do it the way we're able to do it. I don't know.
Do you feel that it's a even playing field though right now for bands? Because I mean that's the way I see it. I think it's an even playing field. Next door neighbor, that's just me personally. What about you?
It's a yes and no. I think Robbie had said the same thing when you brought it up. We're on the even playing field, but there's not a lot of bands that are on major labels anymore, and that's a big issue because rock music doesn't get played on popular radio anymore. Hopefully that will change, because things change. But I mean, those bands are always going to have the step up because they have money and promoting and name recognition and all that stuff like that. So whenever they do something, it's going to obviously be more in the front of things. But I see what you're saying too, where I guess what I'm saying, the opportunities are there for us to be on the even playing field. Like VAGORA gets played on Spotify and Pandora just as much as Metallica does. I mean, not as much, but you know what I'm saying? We have that opportunity. We're there. People can check us out just as much as they check them out. The problem is, it's the recognition. It's the, we have to promote our, so the opportunities are absolutely there. The tools are there, but it's just like anything else. You got to just keep hustling and get your music out there, and just get people to dig what you're doing. And live events were a big part of that. And also too, attendance was waning before COVID. People were not going to shows, even big shows. You started seeing that in the prices going up because people aren't, attendance at shows has been a big issue, but it's, it was steadily getting worse. And hopefully, I say, people will realize what they lost and will start coming out to shows, because it's like, hey, guess what? I don't know. There's so many things, because then you also get I can just watch that band's concert on YouTube, or you could stay at home and still watch a lot of live music, and that's such a cool thing. But people shouldn't be relying on that. People should still get the experience. I mean, you can watch any movie you want on HBO, Max or on Disney Plus, but go to the fucking theater. I mean, get the hell out of the house. I truly believe that. Get out of the house. I tell that to my kids all the time. I'm like, it's cool. You can be on the tablets, do all that stuff. Technology is cool, but get your ass out in the backyard and start, playing pretend, doing, stuff like that. You can do both. You can do both, but it's important not to lose that. Just getting out of the house. Like sometimes I feel like everybody was cooped up. But when you think about it, before, people were still cooped up. They were still staying in the house.
Yeah. I got bitched out because I love to fish. I love to hunt. That's just me. And I just went fishing for a couple hours, man, to get out of the house, get some fresh air. And man, I got ripped. And I was just like, well, hey, mind your business, and I'll do what I want to do. I was sick last week. I went and got tested for COVID. Came back negative. Thank God I didn't have it. But that's my choice. if I want to do whatever I want to do, I'll do it. I've had COVID before. It wasn't as bad as some people has had it, and oh man, I feel for them, and I truly do. But
I
I'm not
had
gonna
it.
start living my life. You know, I'm not.
No, I hear you. Like I said, like I was just mentioning, I had gotten it really bad. It's, you know, it's close to hospitalization as you could be without actually being in the hospital. I had it for almost 2.5 weeks. It was brutal. I dropped like 13 pounds. It was, which the promo picture I took because I was like, I'm gonna take advantage of me looking, cool, and dropped a little weight. So I took a bunch of shots while I was like half dead, like when I could actually sit up and do that. But yeah, no, I had it really, really bad, and it was scary. And it makes you think because I do have anxiety and depression issues and stuff like that. When you get sick like that and you start hearing all this shit on the radio and on the news, you are thinking you're gonna die. It sounds crazy, but I mean, I get panic attacks. I think I'm having a heart attack. Imagine what that's like when you have this thing that people are saying you're gonna die of, and you're laying in bed and you're like, fuck, I can't even get, I have to muster energy just to grab a drink, like literally just to grab a drink. It took like 3 hours to get myself, the energy to do that. It's fucking scary.
Yeah, I had the over effects with the breathing my first time around with it. I couldn't make it from my room here to the kitchen. I had to like take baby steps and stop. I mean, it was horrible. I was like, if this is the way I'm going out, then by God, give me everything I can eat and let me go. Because I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Folks, we'll get to your questions here in just a minute, your comments, I should say. I apologize, but we will get to these. I've had conversations, man, where people have told me, and I was kind of dumbfounded when they said this, that rock music is kind of the underground stuff nowadays. I'm like, that kind of took me back because I was like, what do you mean? But I never thought about it. I was like, yeah, you're right, because when it comes to awards and things like that with these big award stuff, rock is not even in it. Metal is not even in it hardly. I mean, it's behind the scenes stuff. And I was like, that kind of makes sense now after I thought about it. And it's sad, so sad now. That's the way it is.
It is because I grew up in the '90s. I'm old, and you listen to the pop stations because when you're at work, they put a station on, and you fucking listen to it, and they had like Nirvana and like Madonna and like all these bands that were top 40 at the time, which is crazy to think that bands like Nirvana, Green Day would get played on top 40 radio. And now, if somebody will throw on like the pop station, top 40 stations, and you don't even hear a guitar. Mm-hmm. So back in the day, it was like, okay, well, you had your rock and you had your, hip hop and, ballads and all that other stuff. And now it's just nothing. And then I'm not going to hate. There's lots of guilty pleasures in music that I like. And I do like current artists that are pop music. But it's just different, and I really hope there'll be a turn that says, hey, like there's rock music out there, because I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, there was the goth kids and the rock kids and stuff like that. Do they even exist anymore?
Exactly.
Who the fuck are they listening to? Because the internet has plenty of opportunities to listen to bands and things like that, but popular culture is always going to have influences on kids, and whether people like it or not, that's always going to be an influential thing. When I was a kid, I had, I listened to Nirvana and Green Day and bands like that for the first time on, pop channels because, listen to the radio, so, you're always going to be influenced by that. Or you have parents like me who, play, rock music for my kids, and they listen to new stuff too. You just got to give them a well-rounded thing, but you're not going to get it from pop culture right now at all.
No. Community says live shows are by far the thing I miss most. Baby Wolf 199, the energy makes a live show worth going. You can feel the music, and Ashley Forces. Hi. And
that's
also Katie Carlo, Granny Bloodshed, I should say. She says, I truly missed the VAGORA Facebook tour posts.
Yeah, I mean, how many people have we befriended from being on the road. There's just so many people who had just taken us in once and then, just became like a mainstay. We'd go and stay at their house. And, part of performing is everything to me, but, being able to go somewhere that's far away from my house and far away from Rhode Island and to see people, it's like going to visit, your aunt or going to visit your cousins and stuff. You look forward to seeing those people as an added bonus to actually being able to perform. It's such a great thing.
Yeah, I even told you, man, when you guys go on tour and come through Kentucky, my part there, you got a place to stay here and some food to eat. So
it's on the bucket list, my friend. We've played 32 states out of the 50. Kentucky is one of the ones we haven't played yet. So, I'm looking to check all those off.
What's been the most interesting show that you guys have played so far out of state?
Interesting show?
Yeah, something crazy.
All right, it's this interesting. All right, I will say there was the most memorable show, and it wasn't memorable for the performance that I could bring up. We played in Tucson at this this girl hooked us up at this place. It was like an old office that got turned into like there was like a skating ramp and like cement floors, and it was like skate punk, whatever you want to call it, crust punk. Like it was, it was rough. So I played on the floor, which I hate doing because I always think I'm going to hit in the face with the microphone. So I blew out 2 speakers, 2 PA systems, and we were rocking and kids were jumping off shit and like all this stuff. And it was awesome. Like I said, it's always cool when we're like in the crowd and people are skating and stuff. It was cool. But after the show, me and Robbie got a little argument outside, and it was funny. I ended up throwing all this shit out of the van, and because that happens, and so we came back kind of towards the venue to because the girl's gonna pay us, and all of a sudden we start hearing gunshots. We fucking dive into the venue like underneath, and we're laying on the ground, and we're like, holy shit, we never had anything like that happen before. And the girl came out of the bathroom that was gonna pay us, and she's like, oh, don't worry about that. There's like a rival drug guys that come by because there's drug dealers on the side of the building and whatnot, and they're always like retaliating shit. And we were just like, holy fuck. Like we were just ready to go. Any beef that me and Robbie had at that moment, we were just hugging each other and getting the fuck out of Dodge. But yeah, crazy. Yeah, like I can tell you a million stories that are like that, but that's getting shot at was pretty intense.
Man, since you do some visual art, you need to like sit down and like draw a book of all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like this one time, that'll be cool.
No, you know what? The other day, about 2 weeks ago, you probably saw this, but like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Robbie did a show in Rhode Island, and I went out to see him play, and so it was the first time I had seen Robbie in person, and Johnny was there, our old bass player, and I haven't talked to him in 5 years. So you got us in a circle after the show, and it always is the same thing. We just start telling stories, and it's just crazy, and we're remembering all this crazy shit. And I had said this a while ago, and I think I'm going to start doing it with John, is whenever we get together, we're just going to start putting cameras out and really put some kind of story together, because the best stories are ones we start remembering on the fly. And I don't like when people like tell a story after the fact. I like it when it's in the moment and you're saying, oh yeah, remember this, remember that. So I think it'd be cool to get all that stuff in there to tell these stories and then kind of splice them and just put them together, even just for my own entertainment. But I feel like we've had enough crazy stories, because there are VAGORA stories, which I found that out. Actually, Rico, I think, made me, from Chill of October, made me aware of that they're like, oh yeah, here's another VAGORA story. I'm like, all right. That makes things interesting. If there are things called that, that there's some sort of entertainment value. So, a lot of them had to do with me and my anger and my temper, which that's not the legacy I'm trying to leave. But Fortunately, the early days, that was kind of what I was known for, and they'll all tell you a story about that. But yeah, we've had some fun times, regardless of who's in the band. Like everybody, when we all get together, and I was actually trying to come up with this idea of having like a cookout or having some kind of gathering of anybody who was in the band, just come together and hang out, and that'd be an opportunity to really get some good some good information. And but yeah, like I said, there's a million stories anybody can tell you.
That's awesome. Ashley Force says, John says Denver, and then Jonathan R, I guess Johnny says, I tossed Jesse like a paperweight into the venue.
Yeah, because he was behind Jesse when he threw him. Yeah. And I hit the deck, and like I said, I felt bad because, like I said, I threw Robbie's suitcase, and he was doing like a lot of like fancy like shirts at the time, and they were all like in the fucking street.
Poor Robbie. That's great.
I'm not gonna say what he did, but he deserved it. Trust me.
Paul Massey said the tire iron story still cracks me up.
See, stuff like that I don't like to bring up, because then people are gonna think I'm just this crazy like violent person. There were so many like things that led up to that story, but I mean, we'll leave it at we had somebody decided to leave the band the first day of tour, and I did chase him down with an implement. But I'm not. Honestly, I'm so not like that anymore. I really meditate, and I'm just, like I said, it feels like a completely different person. I've grown up and I've changed so much, and I have nothing but love and peace in my life.
Oh God, Mike S. If you had 2 squares of toilet paper and had to go number 2 and had a runny nose, what would you do? Love your drummer.
Yeah, that's Mikey Saint. That's our drummer. Like I said, I've lived it rough. I've on the road, I've done some crazy things. I probably blow my nose and then just wipe my ass with it. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I feel like it's more sanitary than grabbing some leaves off the fucking ground, which anybody who grew up in the country like I did has had to do once or twice. So
maybe one day we'll just have Peter come on here and take over BODS Mayhem Hour Live podcast and just have storytelling of VAGORA with Peter.
Can you get more than one person on at a time? Because I would love to do something like that. Honestly, and I'm putting that out there. So I would love to do an interview with Tracy, because I haven't talked to him in so long, and we had done some great things in the early days of the band, and 2 of our albums are already over 10 years old. So I'd love to just spitball stories and stuff like that someday. I mean, we're on good terms and things like that, but I think that'd be something cool that I would like to entertain someday.
Jonathan R, I agree. A snort and a what is it? What is a snort and a shark? And, Baby Wolf 199. I've sacrificed many socks. Hey, we all have. Yep.
I'm not even gonna get into the bathroom stories, because there's a fucking load of those too, and I don't want to.
You got to do what you got to do. It's like, why do you got 10 packs of socks in your van back there, guys? Got to do what you got to do.
And I'll tell one quick, and I'm not going to give any names out because whatever. But we did have a guy in the band that we were driving. We were trying to get to a venue, and it was just, time was of the essence, and he ended up shitting his pants and just kept driving because he didn't want to stop. And we were just like, man, it wasn't worth it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then we started like thinking about his mental health, because who the fuck does that? I mean, I appreciate, the effort and, the sacrifice, but, there's, I don't know. I feel like there's better ways to handle that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just long trips, cut a hole in the driver's seat and put a bucket under it and let it go. No, I'm just kidding, folks. Don't ever try that. That was not made for me. All right, folks. Peter, how can folks Lord God, I'm getting tongue-tied as always. How can folks stay in touch with you guys as always, and pick up these 2 new singles when they come out, things like that, all VAGORA stuff. How can he do it, sir?
Yeah. So the VAGORA page, the Facebook page, is something obviously that you can always hit us up on. Our drummer Mikey had just gotten us some cool cards with and I'm very behind the times when it comes to technology, but you can scan the card and the barcode, and it sends you to like all of our sites at once. And we're going to be doing like a .com kind of deal too. So you click on this thing and it's like it sends you to everything that we have, so that alone is a great tool right there. But I like to keep the Facebook page updated, and like I said, we do have a .com coming. So if you just search us VAGORA, we're pretty easy to find. Hit me up personally.
All right, folks, here you go. Here's VAGORA's Facebook page. You can see that down there at the bottom. I'm still getting used to this camera, which is left or which is writing all this crap. But anyway, you can see it right down there. Bandcamp. You can also go to Bandcamp. Please pick up their stuff, folks. Help these guys out.
Yeah, all the CDs, shirts. We have the CDs, the shirts, everything. We have lots of stuff. And also, too, these next 2 shows, we're going to have a bunch of brand new merch for those shows. So that's going to be really cool. The artwork is crazy.
There's the Instagram for VAGORA. And also, there is the Facebook or the YouTube page for VAGORA. So go check them out.
Yeah, that
for BODS.
Go ahead. Too. That there's a lot of stuff on it.
There's a ton of stuff on it, actually.
Yeah.
Here it is for BODS Mayhem Hour YouTube page. It would tremendously help me out if you guys and gals will go support me as well on the YouTube page. It's very simple. BODS Mayhem Hour. Just look it up. That's fine. Peter will send you a link if you need it. I'll send you a link if you need it. I don't care. That's tremendously what I'll do. I don't care. Here's the Facebook page for BODS Mayhem Hour. There's our Twitch page. There's our podcast site. I mean, anything and everything for BODS Mayhem Hour, man. We're on every platform for your streaming desires.
And you have almost everything archived up available on that page, right?
I'm slowly working on that. I've got 950 some odd videos on YouTube. I'm up to 200 something on my podcast because I'm very late getting to all this stuff, putting everything up.
Cool.
So when it's just yourself, you just can do what you can do. That's all. So,
but it'd be cool. Also, a lot of stuff that there's a lot of stuff that interviews that I haven't heard since we first did them. So I'm excited to hear some of that stuff.
There's VAGORA Fragments photo. So
yes, that's going to be a shirt, by the way.
Oh, that's good. Good. I need to get you one of my shirts. For sure.
I have a white one from back in the day.
This is the black one that I had a long time ago, and I've just got like 4Xs and 5X of these available. But now the new ones I still got a couple in the large, medium, small, stuff like that. But I'm not going to give away. I guess I'm going to do the my horror punk guy. I'm going to do a shirt of that one, and I got posters now, stickers, cards. I mean, even Michael wants to say hello, Peter, and thanks for being on here.
Always a pleasure, Don. It's nice to talk to you in face to face and in person. All these years, man. It's great to see you and talk to you.
It's like I said, man. I'm a home for you guys and gals. So I haven't forgot where I came from. It doesn't matter if I interviewed Metallica tomorrow or Danzig tomorrow or even Ghost tomorrow. I don't care. I mean, I'm still the same person. I'm nobody better than nobody else.
You're a humble dude, and you ask great questions, and I'm always excited to talk with you because I never know where the story's going to go. So,
yeah. Ashley Forrest said, "Look,
makeup today." So,
I think I might paint my nails next time. I don't know.
Well, it's been 2 years. 2 years I haven't worn makeup. That's like the longest I've ever gone in like 20 years. So, yeah. It's exciting.
You gotta get ready for the Bodfather. You gotta get ready for me. Great interview, fellas, from Jonathan R. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Share everything that we both have, VAGORA and BODS Mayhem Hour, cause I tell you what, the more help we get, the more stuff we can do for everybody. So
yes.
Pete, man, always great talking to you and having you on here, man. And we'll work together on a couple of things here after we get off this podcast. I'll talk to you about a couple of things,
Absolutely.
But folks, thank you all so much. And you can always come back and watch the replay. This is up on
Yes.
YouTube, Twitch,
Yes.
as of right now. Go up there and watch it. Comment, do whatever you want to. But
I'll be
thank you all
reposting.
so much. Yeah, and I'll send you a link too. But thank you all so much tremendously. It means the most, or means the world to me tremendously. Thank you all so much. See you all next Friday. And I believe next Friday I've got Waylon Rivas from A Killer's Confession, if he's still available, because they're on tour right now. And with touring, it's it's just whatever. If they'll come on if they can. So we'll see. But if not, maybe we'll just have a open podcast next week where everybody can come in and talk if they want to. We'll see. We'll see what goes on.
That works.
But thanks, folks. Y'all have a good weekend, and then also it's 9/11 weekend, so never forget. And always think of veteran. Always think of veteran. Even if they're not a veteran, if they're serving right now, or fireman or somebody, just thank them, because you never know when you're going to need them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See y'all later, folks.